Motorsport Coaching Podcast, sponsored by Motivate Training and Management. This is a podcast where we talk to drivers and industry experts to help you maximize your performances on and off the track. Let's get started with today's show. Hi guys, and welcome to episode 35 of the Motorsport Coaching Podcast. I am your host, Belinda Risley, and today I have something a little bit different for you guys. Today I'm talking to Ben Blackburn from Ben Blackburn Racing. Ben has had a decade of experience working as a media and policy advisor for the New South Wales government. 12 months ago, he started his own media and PR business with Ben Blackburn Racing, and he currently is a personal sponsor for drivers such as Andre Gardner in the Supercars, Jordan Love in Porsche Carrera Cup, and Jay Robotham, I just wish I knew how to pronounce those names, in Toyota 86 series. So we're going to hear his story about how he got started to become a personal sponsor, but more importantly, why he chose those three drivers and his journey into becoming a personal sponsor. But before we get started, I've got a review of the podcast to date from Jody. And Jody says, must listen podcast. Belinda, thank you for another awesome podcast, this time with Marcus. Love the variety of guests and content. All the best for the rest of the season. Thanks, Jody. I really appreciate you taking out your time to subscribe and write in that review. And remember, guys, if you're loving these podcasts or not, would really value your feedback, especially around some sort of topics and guests that you'd love to have on board going forward. So without any further ado, please help me welcome Ben Blackburn. So hi, Ben, and welcome to the show.
Hey, Belinda. Thanks for having me on.
Now, you're a little bit of a different guest to what I've previously had on. You sponsor actually drivers. So how do you get into personalised sponsorship and I guess how did you get into motorsport full stop?
For me, I guess going back to the start, I remember, as a little kid, my dad would take me down to Oran Park, and I'm sure, many of your listeners have memories of going to that track when they were younger and stuff. And For me, that's kind of where the love of motorsport kind of started, was actually my dad used to take me to the racing and stuff like that.
Yeah. And have you raced before, or is it just purely just out of a passion project?
No, I raced a little bit of go-karts and stuff when I was a little kid, but nothing super competitive. I didn't win any state titles or anything like that, but always had that interest in motorsport and, sprint car racing, V8 supercars, Porsche Carrera Cup. Yeah.
Pretty much all of it.
Pretty much all of it.
Yeah, we're just talking about the Excel series.
Yeah, no, it's and that's another event that's really taken off in the last couple of years.
Yeah, and they've got massive numbers coming up soon in the Victorian State Championship first round, which is fantastic.
Yep. That's is that next weekend or 2 weeks from now?
Yeah. And so, how did you actually get into sponsoring a driver? How did that come about? You previously mentioned that it was through friends.
Yeah. So John Ruggiero, who's the managing director of Push Talent Management, obviously manages Dave Reynolds and Andre Heimgartner and a number of the up-and-coming Carrera Cup drivers, Chelsea Angelo, Cooper Murray, the Carrera Cup this year. So it's kind of through network involvement with him that I kind of got involved. And that's how the Andre Heimgartner sort of sponsorship started, was actually through John, last year. And there was an opportunity for me to get involved. So I kind of all started from there, really.
Yeah, and what does a personal sponsor do, or how's it different from being, or is there any difference from being an actual brand or having a business to promote?
I guess it depends. I guess there's how much you want to be involved or how little you want to be involved is really up to you. For me, I'd always been a fan of Andre's racing since Super Black. So going back to, 2014 when he debuted at Bathurst, and then he was racing at Super Black with FBR in 2015. So I always kind of had that fan side of it with Andre. Yeah. And just sort of became involved with what John was doing with Push Talent Management, and, thought it'd be a good opportunity to sort of get involved and promote his racing, really. Yeah, so you dabble in media and PR, is that right? Yeah, so I've worked in the New South Wales government for the last, 9-10 years doing that. So media releases, press conferences, organising politicians around, that kind of stuff. I've had a ton of experience doing that. So, I kind of thought, well, if I can apply some of the things that I've learned in that role to, getting a little bit more into the motorsport side, it would, be cool just to help some people out, really.
Cool. And is that what you do for Andre, or do you actually contract to Push, or?
Yeah. So, I mean, we set up the Heimgartner fan page about 12 months ago.
Yeah.
He's obviously already got his own personal page and, Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that. But we saw what a great job that the Dave Reynolds was doing, with his fan page, and, Lounsey had some crazy number of likes on his fan page, and thought, it'd be an awesome, thing to do to promote Andre a little bit more on social media. And, it seems to have had a pretty good response so far. So.
And so then do you work closely with Andre's other sponsors?
Yeah, I mean, we try and promote, so obviously, some of the New Zealand sponsors like civiltrain.nz. He's got a bunch of different sponsors. I'm just trying to think of some of the ones in Victoria, Highline Active, Hamilton Asphalt, all these personal sponsors. We try and kind of promote their journey in motorsport on the website, as well as, tying that in to promote what Andre's doing with Kelly Racing, and sort of just go from there, really. So, I mean, it's a lot of networking, not working directly with the team, but kind of working, with other sponsors and stuff like that, just to really just keep the promotion going on the page and boost him on social media a little bit, really.
Yeah, so I guess having that experience of the media background, it allows you to, I guess, like move alongside Andre and be able to capture all of that information. So stuff that normal fans don't get to experience from potential every other driver.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think there's definitely a opportunity for people to, get involved in motorsport and kind of go down the sponsorship route, whether it's as a, major sponsor or a personal sponsor, depending on what your budget is, and really just to kind of give something back to a couple of the drivers that are up and coming and, obviously have huge potential, and to sort of get involved that way, really.
Yeah, and was Andre the first person you sponsored, or was this something that you've been doing in different categories like Speedway and your other passions before?
No, it really, I mean, it more sort of, as I said, we started with the fan page, and that was, I think, around this time last year at Clipsal, we started that going, and just sort of built up the relationship and the networking, with the guys, with John and his team at Push Talent Management. And we just thought, well, there's an opportunity to get more involved with his racing, and, we got the branding going as part of that, and it's sort of taken off from there, really.
And do you have any roles at race day weekends or anything like that?
So I'm not involved directly in the team, like with Kelly Racing. I'm not paid by the team as, an advisor or anything like that. It's something that I'm sort of doing independently of all of that.
Yeah. And what kind of satisfaction do you get out of sponsoring a driver, Ben?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, obviously, Andre's not one of the big names in the sport, obviously. He doesn't have the following that, like a Craig Lowndes or a Jamie Whincup or a, Scott McLaughlin, all those kind of guys, got a huge following on social media. But, like last year, towards the end of the season, Andre was, getting into top 10 shootouts in New Zealand and Newcastle in the last round, and finishing the top 6 or 7 in a few of those races. So, that obviously, that's satisfying to be a part of that.
Yeah, I could just imagine.
So, I mean, going back to, I think it was Sydney Motorsport Park last year, Jordan Love won his first race in Porsche Carrera Cup.
Yes.
And there was sort of an opportunity to get involved, and we thought, well, we'll start, promoting some more of his stuff on social media, and it's kind of just gone from there. Like the start of this year, there was an opportunity that came up with Jay Robotham, who last year finished 5th in his first year in the Toyota 86 series, and there was an opportunity to come up and be like a personal sponsor with him for the next 12 months throughout the what he's doing with Toyota 86. So it's kind of it's really cool working with the guys at Push Talent Management, John and Samara and all the team that are involved down there. They do a really great job, and you kind of get a great appreciation of how fit these guys, and they're actually tremendous athletes.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, some of these guys are, it's not unusual for them to be going into after a race weekend, and they're going back into the gym on like Monday or Tuesday morning, doing, fitness recovery session, chirotherapy and stuff like that, to recover. And some of them are in the gym like 2-3 times a day. So it's pretty phenomenal how great some of these athletes are, you know.
Oh, I definitely do know that. Do you train with them, Ben, as well?
No. So Josh Webb, who you might be familiar with, who runs the 1% performance program down in Melbourne. I think he's got a serious number of drivers now that are kind of involved in that crew. Carrera Cup drivers, supercar drivers, Dunlop 2 Series drivers, all the way down to, you know, juniors that are racing, you know, go-karts in Melbourne. So, I mean, he does a phenomenal job with, you know, the guys that are, you know, working under that system and getting them up to that level, you know, so that they can actually perform in the car.
Yeah, fantastic. And so where are you actually based? You're in Sydney?
Sydney, yeah.
Yeah. And so where's Kelly Racing in Melbourne?
So their operations in Braeside in Victoria. I think they've been set up there for the last 8-9 years, I think.
Yeah, I'm up for that. And how did you come to meet Push Talent, John?
So when we initially set up the Andre Heimgartner fan page, John obviously manages Andre, and kind of, you know, approached me and said, "Oh, you know, this looks really great. You know, you're doing a good job. Would you be interested in, you know, coming on board as a, you know, personal sponsor at some point?" And it kind of, you know, grew from there. I mean, Dave Reynolds obviously had a fan page with, you know, quite a decent number of followers. And I mean, there's lots of other V8 supercar drivers that have got fan pages that are, you know, pretty active and posting stuff. You know, some of them, you know, doing posts like 2 or 3 times a day. So it's definitely something that I think is going to, you know, has obviously helped Andre and, you know, a number of other drivers in supercars to, you know, just promote their racing.
Yeah, so you do have the 3 current drivers at the moment. What's your big plans for 2019? Are you just going to see how they progress, or is there bigger and better things for Ben Blackburn Racing?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously it'd be great to see, you know, Andre start to get some really awesome results towards the end of 2018, and we certainly think that he's in an environment now, you know, he's got that continuity now going into a second season with Kelly Racing, and he's got a really good crew of support team around him, and really good opportunity for him to perform, you know, in 2019 and get some, you know, some serious results, maybe even some podiums and top 5s and stuff throughout the season. And we're certainly looking forward to be, you know, a part of that.
Fantastic. And do you go to each of the rounds, or how do you spend your time?
Last year I went to, I think, about 3 rounds, Sydney, Gold Coast. Last year I'm planning to go to Perth Super Night race. I think it's May, the first weekend of May.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So I'll be going down there. That'll be pretty cool. The atmosphere last year at the Sydney Motorsport Super Night event was just incredible. I mean, that was the first time that supercars had done a night event like that for, I think, like 19, 20 years. And the crowds were just huge that night as well. And everyone was raving about the atmosphere and, you know, what a great event they put on. So, I mean, I think if Perth can, you know, come anywhere near replicating what they had in Sydney last year, it'll be a really great event.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. And also it's great news with Sydney Motorsport Park getting potentially the sign-off to get those lights permanently placed.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah. And I think the Barbagallo track in Perth has actually been resurfaced in the off-season as well. So, I mean, I know there's quite a few of the drivers are looking forward to getting to Barbagallo as well.
Yeah. So obviously from your perspective, Ben, you don't have a brand or a service or really a product that you're wanting your 3 athletes to promote. How did they, I guess, show you return on investment?
So basically we've got some, you know, we started doing some merchandise a couple of months ago. I got some shirts and stuff like that printed. So, you know, hopefully they're going out there and wearing them to the gym occasionally, and when they go to the track and do their practice days and stuff like that. And, you know, it's just a cool way to get involved. And they've all been very easy to deal with. And they all understand kind of, you know, the importance of people investing in their future, really. So it's just it's a cool thing to be a part of, you know, get involved in the whole motorsport family. And I definitely encourage other people out there who have, got the time and maybe the means to get more involved and support a few young drivers in the sport. I think it's certainly a good thing.
Yeah, and definitely having that passion and that drive behind you helps as well.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I try and listen to all your podcasts as well. Like, you've had some great guests on in the last couple of weeks, Marcus Dumsney and Macaulay Jones, and you've had some pretty cool guests on your podcast. I try and listen every week, so
thank you, Ben. And so I guess is the bigger picture for you, maybe not this year or next year, is to actually have your own race team and maybe with those drivers coming from a range of categories, even from dirt as well as circuit?
It's not kind of a long-term goal. In the next sort of, say, 2 to 3 years, I'd certainly like to get more involved in kind of the media and the PR side of it in terms of promoting drivers and stuff. Whether I actually get involved directly with a team or something like that, that's something that might happen in the next few years. We'll have to wait and see. But, I've got a real job outside of what I'm doing with this. So I kind of, it's kind of a bit of a hobby and an interest for me at the moment, but we're hoping to sort of grow that in the next couple of years. So, yeah.
And it's fantastic when you can still have something that's secured as well as investing in a hobby passion.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And some of the drivers and stuff out there today have full-time jobs, outside of, the racing season. Some of them have their own trades and qualifications and stuff, and, work in all sorts of different industries to support them. Some of the drivers that aren't paid to drive their car, which, could be 40% of the field, they all have real jobs outside of racing too. So.
Yeah, as you know, it's a very expensive sport and takes up a lot of personal time, especially when you have a full-time job as well. So
yeah, absolutely.
I want to say a very big thank you for investing into our sport. I know the three boys are very appreciative of your investment. And again, just thank you for believing in the sport and, trying to support grassroots drivers and assisting them to fulfill their dreams, really.
Yeah, definitely. And, thanks for having me on the show. And I'm definitely looking forward to a big season this year. It's going to be pretty cool. Adelaide's going to be pretty warm this weekend. But, hopefully we can see Andre up in the top 10 punching away somewhere, and Jordan Love, getting a good result in Carrera Cup as well. And, yeah, looking forward to it. Should be good.
And if someone did want to follow Andre's fan page, I'm sure they all do, what is the handle? How do they find it?
So just go to Facebook /Andre Heimgartner fans or Andre Heimgartner fans page, and they'll be able to find us.
Yeah, and Jordan's? So
Jordan, we basically are doing that through the Ben Blackburn Racing Facebook link.
Great. And what's that? So, Ben Blackburn? Yep.
Yeah, sure. So if people want to just go to Facebook /Ben Blackburn Racing, and, we'll try and keep them updated the best we can.
Fantastic. Well, as an avid listener, Ben, you would know that my final question of every podcast is, what is your favourite racetrack? And you can say Valvoline.
I'm not going to say Valvoline Raceway. Definitely my favourite dirt oval track would definitely be Parramatta Speedway. But favourite track, look, I'd have to say Bathurst. I know obviously a lot of people are going to come on your program and say that, but it's just an awesome track with so much history. I mean, it dates back to, the 50s and 60s and stuff in Australia, going back with Holden and Ford. And there's just so much history there at the track. And, Peter Brock won, nine times there, and Lowndes has won a handful of times, and just got so much history, really. So, you can't go past Bathurst.
Yeah, and is that the same opinion as far as viewing goes from a spectator's point of view?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. Nothing beats being on the top of the mountain, or, Reed Park somewhere, or around McPhillamy, on the hill on the Sunday at Bathurst. It's a pretty cool atmosphere up there. You can't get past it, really.
I've spent a few weekends up there. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's everybody's got to go out and experience it at least once, I think.
Yeah, and as you hear, I'm trying to get some of those international guests that we've had on to come out for it and to experience it for a weekend. So.
Oh, awesome! Yeah, no, they'll really enjoy it, I'm sure.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again for your time today, Ben. I really appreciate it. And here at Motivate, we wish Andre, Jordan, and Jalen all the very best in 2019. And again, thank you for supporting our drivers.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on, Belinda. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ben. See ya.
Okay, bye.
Well, thanks everyone for listening to this week's show. I really hope you enjoyed that one as much as I did. Now, remember, all the show notes with the links and the specials mentioned in today's show are available over at motivatetraining.com.au. If you haven't already, I'd really appreciate it if you could head to iTunes or Stitcher, type in Motorsport Coaching, subscribe, and leave us a review. Each week, I'll read them out and you'll go into monthly draw to win a fantastic prize. If you have any questions or comments, please email us at motivatetraining.com.au or head over to our Facebook page at Motivate to Tea. Until next time, take care.